Hello everyone, this is Cooking Classic. I'm Kathy Coslett and I am with Executive Chef Dave Pembleton.
Hello.
Hi Dave. Dave teaches here at Luzerne County Community College and he is one heck of a chef, let me tell you. And he has a great menu planned for tonight. He's going to be cooking jambalaya and baby back ribs. You want to start with the jambalaya first? Let's talk about that name a little bit and where that hails from.
Okay, I think it's from Cajun type cooking, Creole cooking. You know, I think it comes from that area. Paul Prudhomme in our time has made it very popular. And it's actually a stew thickened with rice. Usually start with anything that you have around. It's generally made with sausage, shrimp, and or chicken. And you start sauteing those in the bottom of an earthenware pot. Cook them a little bit, add some flavoring ingredients like onions and peppers and celery and those types of things. You cook that for a while, then you add some rice, cook that for a while, and it's usually supposed to be very spicy. Okay, so we're using different spices like cayenne pepper and gumbo file and black pepper and white pepper. It's very, very highly spicy.
And how did it come about, really, this mixture of all these foods and spices in one pot?
Well, I think geographically where a lot of different cultures came together, the French came together there, the Canadians, the Native Americans, and those types of people all met in one place, and they, kind of melded this cuisine that's now we call Cajun and Creole cooking. And Paul Prudhomme told a funny story. In his house, jambalaya was anything that his mom had in the refrigerator, because there was no refrigeration then. It was like ice. And anything that was starting to get a little sticky and that kind of thing, they'd salt it and they'd highly season it, cook that in the bottom of the pot, use some rice, and that was the start of that, their view on jambalaya. Okay. So that's kind of where I got mine.
Yeah, it sounds kind of awful though, but it worked, didn't it? I mean, a little sticky, you can't get rid of it, you can't afford to get rid of it or whatever.
Yeah, but it's not that it's bad. And in many times in our refrigerators at home, we have things, maybe we'll have a piece of chicken left over from a barbecue, maybe we'll have a piece of sausage left over. Well, at the end of the week in our house, towards the end of the week, I'll take those things, we'll chop them up, we'll put them in a pot just like that with some rice and some liquid, a little bit of spice, or maybe a little bit of salsa, put a lid on it, and when all the liquid's gone, it's done. We call that gruel in our house.
Gruel?
And my kids really like that, and my wife, we really like that.
It sounds good.
We'll pair that with a salad, and it's actually a really healthy dinner. Okay.
Now, ribs. Tons of different kinds of ribs too, right?
Lots of them.
Baby back ribs, beef ribs, pork ribs, short ribs.
Right, and the one I'm going to be preparing today, which I think is probably the most popular in our area, is a thing called baby back ribs. Baby back ribs come from a pig, from a hog, and it comes from their from their backbone down. It comes from the loin part of their primal, and then they square them up and make them very, very easy to use. Okay. So they're very uniform in size, very uniform in thickness, and all these Tex-Mex type restaurants have adopted them on their menu because they become very, very popular. But they're not my favorite ribs.
Is it really so they're popular because they're easy to eat, not necessarily, plus the name, come on, baby back ribs.
Easy to eat, easy to use, easy to cook, but expensive. Yeah. I mean, if I had a restaurant, I wouldn't be using baby back ribs. I would be using a thing called St. Louis ribs.
And what's a St. Louis rib?
St. Louis rib, there's another rib off of a hog called a spare rib, and that comes from their belly. The only thing that comes from a hog belly is bacon and spare ribs, two of my favorite things in the world, Well, the spare ribs have a very, very weird shape. They start off kind of thin and they kind of go into the sheet shape, and it's not very popular looking, and it's a little more gristly, so people are turned off by it. So what some butchers and companies have done is they put them on a high-speed bandsaw, squared them off, got rid of some of that gristly part, and made them look more like baby back ribs. But because they're from the belly, I think they have a much better flavor, and because they're in less demand, they're much cheaper.
Yeah. That's really what I remember growing up too, is spare ribs.
Right.
That's what was cooked in our house, and they were, if it wasn't, they were called spare ribs anyway.
Right. My mother made this really good dish with spare ribs. She would cook the spare ribs in a tomato sauce all day and serve it over pasta.
Oh, that sounds great.
It was really, really good. And then there are other ribs called beef short ribs.
Okay, let's hold that thought, and we'll talk more about the ribs when we get to the kitchen, because we want to get over there and get the ribs going and the jambalaya going. We'll see you in a moment.
Hello, I'm Aaliyah, a culinary student at Luzerne County Community College, and I'm here with your culinary tip of the day. Fresh herbs are a way to add color and flavor to your dishes. Fresh herbs are also found in your local grocery stores. Parsley is your first herb. Parsley can be used for multiple things. You can use the stems for flavoring your stocks and soups, and also use the tops of it. You can mince the top of it, and use it as a garnish for your soups, salads, and entrees. And your second herb is basil. Basil has a soft and delicate flavor, and I often like to chiffonade it, just rolling it all up and slicing it. And you also can use this as a garnish and also adds flavor to your soup, salads, and entrees. And your third herb is rosemary. Rosemary is good to add flavor to your roasted potatoes, grilled chicken, and also your marinades. Take it right off the stem. And you mince it. And it's an easy way to add garnish and flavor to your entrees. I hope these simple tips with fresh herbs have helped you cook at home with them. This is your culinary tip of the day. Thank you. Bon appetit.
All right, all of you rib lovers, we've got your baby back ribs seasoned up and ready to go. And of course, it's Chef Dave Pembleton's favorite seasoning, that Montreal seasoning that he talks about all the time.
It is. So what I've done here is I've rubbed this down with a little bit of oil. Some people like to use some dry rubs with a lot of dry herbs together, such as cumin and black pepper and paprika. This is just I just seasoned them up, and what you're going to do is I like to add some flavor to them. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put them right on a hot grill, and it has to be really, really hot to get those marks and to get the caramelization that we're looking for. Okay, so we're just going to leave those go, and while we make a flavorful barbecue sauce.
Now, I see what you mean about the uniformity of these and why they would be easy to eat, easy to cook, easy to prepare.
Right, and that's why all the restaurants like them around here, because that's what they've become accustomed to, and that's what people have been accustomed to, and there's very little gristle in them, very easy to eat, so they're very, very highly desired, but really expensive.
What about, I've heard people sometimes say something about taking a membrane or removing a membrane.
Yeah, there's a membrane that sometimes runs down the back of the rib here that holds it all together. And when you buy them commercially now, it's already removed. But sometimes it's this elastin, they call it. It's a connective tissue. And if you don't remove that first before trying before cooking the ribs, that will never change and it will remain tough. So that has to be removed.
Is it hard to remove?
No, it's you just pull it on one side. It pulls straight down. Okay, much like the elastin on a beef tenderloin.
All right.
That kind of thing. So it's really not that hard to remove.
All right, so about how long is this going to be on the grill?
I don't know. It seems pretty hot. It seems 450 to 500 degrees. Maybe we're going to be, 4 or 5 minutes on that side, and then maybe 4 or 5 minutes on the other side.
Okay.
So while that's happening, Kathy, why don't we're going to need that. So.
No, I'm sorry.
It's okay. While that's happening, why don't we create a barbecue sauce then? Because what goes better with ribs than barbecue sauce? Okay. There's a couple of things you can do. Okay. Most barbecue sauces start from ketchup. Okay. Or if I'm out in the store and there's a cheap barbecue sauce on sale, I'll buy that cheap barbecue sauce.
And doctor it up, so to speak?
I will. Okay. So it just saves some time. But for today, we have some ketchup. Okay. To that, I'm going to add some brown mustard.
Is that spicy mustard?
It is. Spicy brown mustard.
Spicy mustard.
Okay. I like that.
Thank you.
And then we have some brown sugar. Okay.
I like brown sugar.
I love brown sugar.
I do.
If you didn't have brown sugar, you could certainly use honey. You could certainly use white sugar. You could use molasses. You could use corn syrup.
That would give it a different taste.
You could use maple syrup. I mean, I've been in a pinch.
Good.
I've been in a pinch where I just all it requires is a sweetener. Okay. So what we're going to do. So we've put all those different ingredients in there, and you can put salt, pepper, garlic. You can put anything you want into a barbecue sauce, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take, you're going to hold on to that whisk for me, Kathy. I'm just going to take some of this because I like to have a little bit of the barbecue sauce for brushing later, and this barbecue sauce
Oh, that's
we
good.
have to thin this out
Well, that was good.
for cooking. Well, thank you. If you can pour, now what I'm thinning it out with is Coca-Cola.
Oh,
Okay?
get out of
So
here.
if you can just pour it in there, we're just looking
So
for,
why Coca-Cola?
well, it sweetens it up. Most people like the taste of Coca-Cola. Okay, just hold up.
More?
No, I think that's probably
Yeah.
going to do it.
I didn't
and the
put
reason
too much, did I?
No, I think you did a good job. The reason you want to thin it out is because if I tried to put that thick barbecue sauce in the oven, what would happen? It would just get matted, and it won't do what we want it to do. Okay, so we're doing a cooking method today called braising. And what braising does, Kathy, is it cooks kind of slow. And as it's cooking, it creates steam, and there's vinegar in here,
Okay.
and there's acid in the tomatoes, and all those things help to break down that connective tissue
Okay.
that's in the ribs. Because ribs are from a part of the animal that gets some exercise, and wherever there's locomotion or exercise in the animal, it'll be tough.
I like that locomotion.
Yeah, locomotion. I learned that from Bill Howell. But if you don't know how to deal with that, and that long, slow cooking and acidic liquids help to break down that connective tissue. And cuts of beef and pork that have lots of connective tissue actually taste much better because lean cuts of meat don't have that.
Right.
So if you know how to cook with it and you know how to break that down, boy, does it add to the flavor of it.
Sounds
Okay.
good. It looks
That's
good.
That's what we're looking for. You know, we're going to give it another couple of
Okay.
minute or two on this side, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take it and we're just just in another minute here we'll put it into our pan, and I'm going to pour this thinned out barbecue sauce over the top. We'll wrap it with foil because braising has to be covered.
You need that.
You have to have it
steam,
covered
right?
to create that steam, to create that environment in which these are going to break down. And Kathy, it'll probably take the better part of about 2.5 hours
Oh, in the oven.
in the oven. But what I do, if I need these, say I need them for a party tomorrow, I cook them today.
Right.
I get them through the oven and then put them in my refrigerator, and then the only thing I have to worry about the next day is putting them on the grill.
Yeah, you
Just
want to be a
heating them
part
up.
of the party,
So
don't you, there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to take them off the grill,
Okay.
like so. We're just going to
Pour this right over.
right over, just like so.
There we go.
You know, doesn't take
I
a
don't know
whole
about
lot.
you, but I love ribs, and I like baby back ribs. This is
Okay,
good.
and whenever you cook ribs, you want to try to cook them in as whole of a state as you can. If I would cut these in pieces, they would certainly cook faster, but when you do that, they shrink up a lot. So it's better to cook
all
the
right.
thing whole the way it is.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to cover this up. You can give me a hand there.
Sure.
We're going to give this a nice seal all the way around.
Alrighty.
And then, Kathy, if
I'll
you'd be
get
kind
that in
enough
the
to
oven,
put that
sure.
in the oven at about 325 degrees.
Okay. Let me just do this.
And like I said, 2.5 hours.
Go ahead.
And Kathy, the way that we'll be able to tell if they're done, some people say, hey, when they're falling off the bone. Okay, but when they're falling off the bone, then it doesn't have a really nice presentation. Okay? When you could take a fork, an eating fork like this, and pierce it through where the bones are, and it goes in and out with no problem, they're done.
Oh, that's good to know. Yeah,
then
that's
we take them
terrific.
out, brush them down with some barbecue sauce, put them back on the grill, and they're ready to
Okay,
eat.
now I might have missed it because I was over there getting those in the oven, but did you say usually about how long it might take or not?
Well, in the oven?
Yeah.
Yeah, around, because no oven is ever exactly
same.
right. But between 325 and 350, it would probably take about 2.5 hours.
Oh, you did say that. I'm
I did.
sorry. Okay.
And then you would check them with this. If they weren't quite done, you would put them back in and that kind of thing.
He looked at me like, what's wrong with you?
It's okay.
All right, thank you very much. And we will be back in just a moment. We're going to make the jambalaya to go along with those delicious ribs.
Are you looking for a college that's right for you? Luzerne County Community College has more than 100 majors to choose from, convenient class times, and many online courses. Transfer your degree and continue your education at a four-year college. Work with modern equipment found in the professional world, all at the area's lowest tuition. Make it happen at Luzerne County Community College.
We are back and we're about ready to prepare that Cajun Creole mix blend. Would you call it comfort food, jambalaya?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So first thing we want to do, Kathy, is I like to use this type of a pot. It's nice, thick enamel cast iron pot, so it doesn't burn. It doesn't stick as much.
That? Are you finished with that, or might you need more?
Maybe I might need a little bit more.
Okay.
Put it over there, please.
Well, if you need it, just call.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and next I'm going to use some sweet onion. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And some red bell pepper that I've diced up.
Now remember, this was everything left in the refrigerator there at home.
Right, so we had a piece of sausage,
Down
we had a
south.
couple of shrimp, right. You know, things that were getting a little sticky in the refrigerator or something like that.
That sounds awful, doesn't it? Getting a little sticky in the refrigerator.
You know exactly what I mean. You know.
Yes, I do. Really, I do.
But now, I mean, we can, you can go and buy fresh ingredients as well. Right? So we're sweating this down, and what that means to do is to tenderize and cook in some fat without really causing any color. Right? So as soon as those bell peppers are done, Kathy, can you hand me the shrimp?
I was leaning towards the sausage.
There we go. We got a little bit of shrimp there. We're gonna stir those around.
Which is really a
so.
mainstay, isn't it, down in New Orleans and where all of these
on the
dishes
Gulf
are
there,
made.
there's a lot of shrimp there, and I think the best shrimp in the world come from there.
Yeah,
okay?
I would have to
And
agree
that's
with
what
you.
that's the ones I'm using. Okay, so we peeled and deveined them, took them out of the shell, and we cut them up into bite-sized pieces. Okay, now next we're going to need some sausage. Okay?
Sausage. I love this. So see this little opening? That was because I was eating it before we came back.
Now I'm using a hot Italian sausage, and I've roasted it off first. Some people don't do that, but it's harder to cut when it's not roasted,
okay.
and I find it just a lot easier to deal with when it's been cut.
So when you say you roasted it off, what do you mean?
I put it on a pan, I put it in the oven at about 375 degrees until it was just about cooked, okay? Then I let it firm up outside of the, outside in the refrigerator. And then as soon as it was firmed up enough, I cut it into bite-sized coins.
Now, bite size is important to the preparation of this dish, correct?
Yeah, I mean, you want to make it easier for your customers to eat, but it's a rustic dish, so I don't think perfection is good.
Okay.
So it's a rustic dish, so not every piece of sausage is exactly the same size. Okay, and
I think I ate the biggest one.
There you go. And was it good?
It was excellent.
Yeah, and it's classically andouille sausage, but you can use any spicy sausage. Hey, and if you don't like spicy sausage, use mild Italian sausage. If you don't like sausage at all, don't use sausage. But I really do think it's a necessary flavor component.
What would you use if you didn't use sausage? Could you use
Maybe
a
I use
beef or
bacon.
chicken, bacon?
Maybe I'd use a chicken breast.
Okay.
Maybe I'd use some chicken thighs.
Okay.
Some type of protein. Okay.
All right.
Now, after that, this is the only part that really matters. Okay. I'm using long grain rice because it doesn't stick together as much. Okay. So I'm using.
What do you have there? 2 cups?
Yeah, I have 2 cups here. And the only thing that's really important in this dish, Kathy, that's extremely important, is the ratio of rice to broth. And that ratio is always, with long grain rice, it's always 2 to 1.
Yeah.
Okay? So we use 1 part. I think we used 2 cups of rice.
We did.
So we're going to use about 4 cups.
Of broth.
4 cups of broth, which I think I have here, right? Does that say 1 quart? Okay. And we're going to pour that in there. Okay. Now, I'm using chicken broth, but you can use vegetable broth. You could use a clam juice if you wanted to. You can use any kind of broth you wanted to. Okay. And then I'm going to put in a cup of store-bought salsa. Okay. I like that for a kick. I think it gives it a nice body. I think it gives it a nice color. Not everybody puts that in, but I really like it. Okay.
So this is really interesting that you cook the rice in with all of the other ingredients, the meat, the fish, everything.
Right.
Kind of makes it easier too, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it has its own timing device.
Yeah.
And its own timing device is after I've stirred it around, I've got it combined, I'm going to turn the heat down to about medium, and I'm going to put the lid on the pot.
And that's it.
And when all of the liquid is gone, the jambalaya is done. Then the only thing we'd have to do is, hey, let's see how spicy we really want it. We have some cayenne pepper that we can kind of kick it up a notch if we wanted to.
Okay.
So that's how the jambalaya is made. And
well, Well,
we're going to put this together. When the ribs are about done, we're going to put everything together. We're going to plate it up so you can see how nice it'll look.
All right, that's next on Cooking Classic. Stay with us.
Are you looking for a college that's right for you? Luzerne County Community College has more than 100 majors to choose from, convenient class times, and many online courses. Transfer your degree and continue your education at a four-year college. Work with modern equipment found in the professional world, all at the area's lowest tuition. Make it happen at Luzerne County Community College.
Thanks for staying with us. For those of you who have just joined us, this is Cooking Classic. I'm Kathy Koslett. This is Chef Dave Pembleton, and we are at the end of his recipe tonight, and I can't wait. Baby back ribs are going to come out of the oven right now.
Okay. Now, want to be careful when you pull them out because there's that liquid there.
Okay.
Can
you get it?
Coming right over.
Here, I'll
to
close
there.
the door.
There we go.
Let's
Thank
switch.
you.
You're welcome.
Now, we want to check. We want to check if they're done.
Oh my goodness.
We want to check if they're done.
I have
So, we take a fork that you would eat with, and we shove it in there, and it goes in. You see that?
Yeah, it comes
It goes
right.
in, and goes out with no problem at all. That's how you can tell if they're done.
Chef
okay?
Dave, they look beautiful.
So thank you. And now what we'll do is we'll put them onto the cutting board.
Okay.
Because there's one extra thing I like to do. I like my ribs a little saucy. So I'm going to cut these. And these are usually served in half rack or quarter rack, but you can see that knife went through there without much of a problem. Okay, like so. Now, Kathy, if you'd be kind enough to hand me that plate.
I saw that little piece hanging off there.
There we go. We're going to take these over to the grill, and we're going to do one more thing with them. We're going to give them a little brush down.
Now this is with the barbecue sauce that you saved. That's thicker than what you cooked them in.
Exactly. Okay. And we're just going to give them. We're just going to give them a little baste in that.
Okay.
Because I like ribs a little bit on the saucy side.
Yeah, I do too.
Okay.
I'm with you on that one.
Okay. Like so.
Woo.
As soon as that's done, we're going to do them on the other side as well. Okay. And I call that food candy. Okay. Because it caramelizes to the point where it's like candy.
Oh,
okay?
these are gorgeous.
There we go.
If they taste as good as they look, we're in for a real treat.
Okay. And I'll just turn them back over. Let that side candy up a little bit.
We should invite all of you in one of these days, and maybe you
Right.
could actually taste some of this great food.
That would be great.
Wouldn't it?
Okay.
That would be a lot of fun.
Like so,
Hear that, boss?
and like so. And like I said, you can get these at restaurants in full racks. You can get quarter racks. You can get half racks. I think what we're going to plate up tonight is a nice half rack.
Okay.
And you'll.
What would really be a good serving? And don't tell me it depends on how hungry you are. I'm talking about what's the normal amount, or
Well,
someone should eat.
I think the most popular thing out there at the restaurants is a half
Half
rack,
rack.
where they would take this thing, cut it directly in half, and
Okay.
then serve that with some baked beans and some corn and some rice
Okay.
or whatever side dishes they had
So
on.
about how much meat or protein would that actually be?
Maybe because there's so much bone,
Bone, yeah.
maybe 6 ounces.
Okay, well
So
that's not so bad,
It's
right?
it's about the right size.
Okay. Oh, you're not going to leave all of that good stuff there, are you?
Those are what
I
we
know,
call in my
save
house.
those.
We call them the yummies.
Yeah, we
Okay.
fight over those in
Okay.
our house.
There we go. Like so. And I think that Kathy, if you want
I'm
to
ready to go?
take them over for me, that'd
Got
be
it.
great.
Sure. Okay, so you want me to move this out of the way?
If you could.
Sure.
I think we're done with that.
All right.
We're done with this. Now, we can get rid of that if you could.
Okay.
Now, it's time for the plate up. So we have to
Okay.
go into the oven just to get our corn. I'm serving this with some grilled sweet corn, which we have here. Now let's see how our jambalaya is doing.
Yeah, let's
Kathy?
see how our jambalaya is doing. By the way, did you notice he says jam, I say jum? I don't know. If you know what it is, call and tell us.
Here we go.
Okay.
Now let's taste this to see if it's done. Now all the liquid is gone.
Right? Oh, I want that piece.
All the liquid is gone. The rice is, we're going to see if it's cooked. Yummy.
That's
Okay.
incredible.
Very good. If you
No
want it,
double dipping allowed?
no. But if you wanted that a little bit spicier, we could put a little bit more cayenne pepper.
Oh, it's
but
really
for me, from the juice from the hot sausage and a little bit of cayenne pepper and a little bit of stuff we
No.
have from the salsa, to me it's hot enough.
Oh, that's perfect. Really,
Right?
it is.
You like it
It
that way?
is.
Okay. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to plate this up. Okay.
Okay.
So we have our dish here. I'm gonna take a healthy scoop of this jambalaya. Like so.
So intense, isn't he?
Got to put it right where
That's
it
the
belongs.
chef look, isn't it?
There we go.
Yeah.
Now, along
Next.
with that, we're going to take our
Half rack
half rack,
of baby back ribs,
Of baby back
barbecued
ribs.
baby back ribs.
like so.
Oh, I
Okay.
better not touch that. That just came out of the oven.
Right. Like so.
You're on your own there.
And we're going to take our
Yeah,
corn.
that looks delicious.
Okay. Like so.
Oh, this is great.
And then I think I need a little bit more jambalaya there. I don't see enough
I'm up
of it.
for that.
Okay. So we're going to take a little bit more just to seed it there. We don't want any of our customers going away hungry. Right? Now, Kathy, if you do me a favor and take that nice clean cloth there, we'll clean up a little bit
Oh,
of that
sure.
barbecue sauce.
Let's do this side too. Alrighty. There we
And
go.
we're going to give that one more glaze with that barbecue sauce
That
that
looks
we made.
beautiful.
So it's nice
really
and shiny. Okay, now, the only other thing that we need is a little bit of parsley.
Parsley, we know you
to
love
finish
parsley.
it off. I do. Right on the jambalaya like so. And I think that we have
We have enough pepper.
a winning dish. And then
Okay.
we'll take one or two of these tomatoes
Yeah, let's bring that
just
red into it,
kinda
right?
seed
God, that's
them.
gorgeous.
right there like so. And there we have it. Baby back ribs with jambalaya and grilled sweet corn.
Chef Pembleton, thank you very much, and
You're
thank
welcome.
all of you for joining us. If you don't mind, I'm going to take off and dig in. See you next time.